This is the guy to Georgia Outdoors. 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 And this is the guy to Georgia Outdoors. This is about our 15th time shooting this intro. We're hunting one buck. One buck, and when you hunt one buck, it can be disheartening. This is the guy to Georgia Outdoors, and we're about to bring you along on a 3-year journey to hunt this buck we call the Big Six, a 5.5-year-old deer that really made me a better hunter. I'm gonna talk about some of the new equipment, some of the techniques, some of the ways that I was able to get this buck. It was just a mature buck, and we're gonna bring you along for the journey. If you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, and now to the video. All right, she looks good. She's got her vest on. This buck we call the Big Six first showed up on camera about 4 years ago as a young 6-point, and then for the past 3 years he's been just essentially the same size buck. And here he is right here. Last hunting season he's broke off one of his brow tines, but then here he is this season, and he has essentially been the same size buck, just this wide mainframe 6-point, never getting any bigger. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say once a 6, always a 6, but that was the case here. And we have some strong 6-point genetics running around the farm, probably due to this guy right here. Knowing that he is an old 5.5-year-old plus deer, I made him my target buck. And you know, when you hunt one buck, it can be a little disheartening. You're hunting every afternoon, and I think I put in no less than 25 to 30 hunts for this one buck. It's only about 6 o'clock, and we got in the stand about 5:30. I actually had to crawl into the deer stand because I had deer out here. There was already 5. I've already seen 5 deer. 2 small bucks, a couple does. Hoping that this cold front we got coming in, this is the first afternoon that I would say it's been chilly all season long. And I'm hoping this cold front got the deer moving. I've got deer on all my trail cameras, and I've seen 3 or 4 on the way in. So it's got the makings of a good afternoon. It's a little bit windy, but I don't think that'll keep the deer from moving. Obviously it won't, but hopefully not the big buck. So sit back and be patient. I've got some pretty good expectations for tonight, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and hit the old rattle back a little bit. This is about the picture perfect time of the year when that rut's really getting fired off. That's when I've seen the deer the most responsive to this, but we're not gonna go crazy, just tickle the ivories a little bit. I hit him, out come pops up with the same spike. That is crazy. He just came running and stuck his head out. Tell me rattling doesn't work in Georgia. I hit those things, and within just seconds, that trigger come running to the edge of the food plot, popped his head up. Nice buck. Oh, I gotta decide. Saw a lot of deer along the way, even passed up some really good bucks that people kind of called me crazy for passing them up. They were younger, probably scored even higher than this 6-point, but in order to get the mature buck, you got to pass up on these young ones. And if you're really wanting to shoot bigger bucks and grow bigger ones, you got to pass them up. About mid-October, I was just really checking the cameras, hadn't seen the buck in daylight hours, and I noticed a trend. I don't hunt on Sunday mornings and I don't hunt on Wednesday afternoons, and the buck was showing up on Sunday mornings on my camera and Wednesday afternoon. And one day I was at church and I was talking to my pastor, my Uncle Tony, and he said, "That buck knows your schedule," and that really got me thinking. The only way I could imagine this deer was knowing when I was in there and when I wasn't was by me driving my Kawasaki mule in. I would have to drive through this bottom, come up on the hill. I would park about 300 yards from my deer stand and walk in. And every time I would do that, he'd never show up. And on the days I wasn't doing that, he'd show up. So I finally decided to ride the old e-bike in. I don't know if you've watched the channel, you know I love my e-bike. And I decided to park about a half a mile away from the deer stand. And I'd walk in real quietly. And you wouldn't believe it, but the first attempt at doing this, he decides to show up. All right, we are back in the stand again. It is Friday, October the 31st, Halloween. And if you are by any chance a long-term fan of the channel, you know that Halloween is a special day to me, not because I like the holiday, but because I've always had a lot of luck on this weekend. This is typically, from my experience, some of the best rut activity, best buck movement in Georgia, and we're hoping that this is no exception this afternoon. The big buck we're hunting after, the big six, comes in here every night, and maybe tonight's the night. Guys, I really hate that the video come to this. You know, I've hunted this deer for the better part of 3 years, and it came in quick. And I'm watching this spike, and the next thing I look up, and it's so close to dark, I see a big body in the food plot, and I'm having to play with my scope, and finally got him in the crosshairs. He stepped. I was able to make out his body, knew it was him, and able to get the shot. And boy, I'm nervous. He's down in the food plot. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you he's down. I haven't got my hands on him yet. This is all fresh. But as I'm fumbling around in here, knocking my camera over, but this is a little bit emotional. I don't cry. I'm not you know, I don't get like Luke Bryan on this one. But man, when you've hunted a buck this long, he's just called the big six, and you're going to see him in a minute. I'm excited to put my hands on him. I'm guessing every bit of 18 and 19 inches wide. I have not seen him. I know he's down. Oh, but man, this is just, you can hear it in my lungs and my chest. I'm nervous, man. Let's go look at him. There's my old turkey blind where I turkey hunt this year, and I forgot to take it down. Didn't really forget to take it down, I just never got around to it, so I left it there. And there he is. He fell right by the blind. Look at that boy right there. The light is right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at that boy right there. Oh, man. There he is. I mean, look at that thing. You can measure a first down with the width on that rack. There it is. That is pretty right there, buddy. But I'm really thankful. Came in there just last minute, and in Georgia, you got to be prepared. You got to have your gun ready. You got to be on a moment's notice. I had turned the camera dark brightness as much as I could, and it was still not picking up. And then I wasn't using my tripod. I was using my my bog pod for the gun, actually using that for my camera, and one of the legs just went down, and as you seen in the blind, I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna try to get this footage. I'm just gonna shoot a deer. I'm a deer hunter. So that's where we're at. My dad's on the way to get me, but I am really happy to have this deer. Here comes my old man.
Wow, he's big.
He ain't real heavy.
Probably been rutting a good bit.
Nice. He wide, isn't he?
He is. Dad brought the tape measure out here. I was thinking 18, 19 inches wide. Mama, hold it up. Go to this side right there and hold it up for you, Mama. Look at that.
You can get 20.
Give me 20.
You got
right
20.
there. 20 inches wide.
That's nice. Really wide.
He is. Been seeing a couple of years straight now.
That's it. When you look at him from right there, he ain't got a whole lot to him, but he ain't gonna be no high scoring deer. But I knew that going in. All right, what you think he weighs, Pops? I can tell you he's not gonna weigh a whole lot.
160.
I'm thinking 160 as well. A deer loses a lot of weight during the rut, and this guy was rutted out. In fact, before I even found blood to locate him, I could smell him and turn around, and sure enough, there he was. I'm thinking 160. We'll give him away and see kind of what he weighs. Right, we're guessing 160-ish. We know he's not going to weigh a ton. That's it.
It ain't bad for a just have to heat it up type thing.
I don't see that being accurate, Pops. It's saying 130. But it could be.
Yeah. It's
130 pounds.
You want to use the old set. They fail, but they might be.
100. Look here. That's not even 130 pounds.
Now he can't.
All right. This deer weighs 130 pounds. And before anybody says young deer, no, I've had him on camera for the last 4 seasons. I know he's at least a 5.5-year-old deer, and got me questioning if he's older than that. And this is what they call the old Roman nose that an old deer gets when he's it's kind of an arch right there. 130 pounds. Now, yeah, he probably lost a good 20, 30 pounds during the rut, but that deer should have been a lot bigger than that. This guy's been running around the farm. Really happy to get him off, because when you check some of the footage out, you can tell we got a strong 6-point gene here on the farm. So, you know, a trophy is what you make it, and this one's not in anybody's record book, but I'm really, really proud of this guy. All right, we weighed him at 128 pounds, and that's small even by Georgia standards. And just a little background on myself. I am an ag teacher, FFA, for years, and we had a contest where we aged deer, in which I'm not an expert, but I've got a lot of experience aging deer. And I took the jaw and looked at it, and easily he's a 5.5-year-old deer, possibly even more. I'll try to get some footage of it, would keep it where YouTube doesn't demonetize it. But no cusp. The brown part of his teeth is wider than the white part of his teeth, and just all the indications of an old deer. Inferior genetics, possibly. Now I got a lot of 6 points going on the farm, but I'm gonna show you his teeth right here. And it's kind of hard to tell, but all that right there is flat. These are the back teeth. All that is flat with no cusp, and I know that's a horrible angle right there. You may just have to trust me on this. The angle's not good, but like I said, I've aged enough to not be an expert, but have a pretty good idea. And plus I got video and picture footage of him to know about how old he is. So really pleased to get this deer off of the farm. And I don't want to say like I'm getting it off the farm. I'm really pleased with him as a trophy. I've been really hunting this one for years, and I couldn't think of a better one to take off the farm. But right now we're going to clean him up. He's going to make some good meat. He doesn't smell the best. In fact, when I was looking for him, I found him by smell before I seen him or blood. This is a family affair. My mom brought me some hot chocolate out here, and she's on the way to bring me a slice of pizza. But we're gonna get this thing cleaned up, and could not be more pleased with him. 20 inches wide. Here in Georgia, we measure outside of the antlers, and 20 inches wide, over 18, right at 18 on the inside, 18-inch spread, and just a pretty cool deer. All right, my mom just brought me a slice of pizza out here. It's good to live on the farm with all the family, but I'll stop talking in just a minute. But I posted a picture of this deer on Facebook, and everybody's commenting, "Oh, you finally got him, you finally got him," because anybody that knows me knows I've been hunting this same exact buck for years now. And one more thing is that I've cleaned hundreds of deer here. And I'm going to tell you something. I can just visually tell. I know you're not going to be able to tell in the video how short he is compared to most other deer. I've had deer that almost will touch the top to bottom. And this deer is really, really squatty. It's easier for me to tell it now that I got it on video. And the last thing is, get you a knife like this. This is not a paid spade. a paid sponsorship. This is Avalon, and if you want to cut some skin some deer good, get you one of those. But we're about to break him down, clean him up, and then we'll pick it up from there. We got the deer head in the walk-in cooler, and we're going to be carrying it to get a European mount in the next day or two. But after doing some research, I'm fully convinced that that deer was at least 5.5 years old, possibly 6, just judging by the teeth. This deer, when I tell you that it taught me how to be a better hunter, I don't mean that sarcastically. It taught me to change up some stuff. Like if you're going in there and you're not seeing him, walk in, walk a little bit further. Use your resources. Use something like buck crack, and I really credit that to getting these deer off of the neighbor's corn pile. Everybody, there's probably 100 corn piles within a square mile, and you got to give yourself the edge. Be impatient. I passed up on some bucks that I probably would have shot in the past, and I've shot smaller, and you got to be patient to get to the mature ones, and mature doesn't always mean the biggest. That buck that I passed up on may be a 140 in a couple years. This one was peaked out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're expecting a lot of big trophy bucks killed, well, that might not be the right channel for you. But if you're looking for good, honest living, hunting, just enjoying the outdoors, this is the right place for you. In fact, we're probably going to take a deer tenderloin and throw it on the rocket stove in just a minute and enjoy the afternoon and go get back in the deer stand. If you would hit that subscribe button. Till the next one, this has been the unofficial, no doubt incomplete guide, George Outdoors.